Everybody's talking about Bobby Lee these days. Bobby Lee this, Bobby Lee that. Did you hear Bobby Lee kissed this person in this place in public this? Did you hear Bobby Lee asked about this person's feet in public that? You know, we got lots of Bobby Lee stuff going on. He's chasing around hosts. He's grabbing junk. He's putting junk in faces. He's asking for sniffs, okay? We got some real disgusting stuff happening with Bobby Lee. Bobby Lee is a comedian, okay? He's like an improv artist or whatever. He's been on Mad TV. He's been in films. He's been in television shows. He's been a stand-up comedian. He runs in all the same circles as all the famous comedians today, and he's been doing it for as long as I can even remember. So today, we gotta talk about all the things that everybody is talking about Bobby Lee about. And yes, he's a degenerate, and yes, he's a creepy weirdo, and all of those commentary channels, they're kind of nailing it, all right? The things that he's doing, they might be making people laugh, some people, the wrong kinds of people, but what Bobby Lee does is worse than creepy. It's worse than being weird, okay? Bobby Lee is unfunny. That's right, you heard it here first, folks. Bobby Lee, world-class comedian, is unfunny. Not a funny guy. Not really a funny guy. He might be a clown. He might be a court jester, but not a particularly good one. His kind of comedy is like making people feel uncomfortable. And in that making people feel uncomfortable, there's supposed to be that sort of like inherent, oh, he's trying to make you cringe and that's going to make you laugh kind of thing. And in a vacuum and on paper, that sounds awesome. Dude, that sounds like something I would love. But when you go down the roads that Bobby Lee is going down, and you'll see in this video, you'll be like, Bobby, you didn't have to do that thing. And if you didn't do that thing, maybe it would have been funny. And trust me, I don't know any of the idiots either in this video. I had no idea who these people were until I did research for my video today, okay? Of course I know who Bobby Lee is. He's been around forever. But all of these other people, I have no idea, bro. George Janko? Who the hell's a George Janko? I got no idea. Bobby Althoff? No idea, okay? And then mostly everybody else on here is like a morning show host. Who cares about morning shows, okay? So first off, don't come at me, but who this, who that? Lord knows I don't know either, bro. But before we get into the examples, we gotta lay the table of the initial crime. And the initial crime is that he justifies it all through the art of improv, okay?
And in improv, you never disagree. Okay. You always agree. Yes, and. Because yes and you ruin the fucking moment if you don't do it. So you're gonna fucking smell my dick.
The concept of yes and. Are you familiar with improv and yes and? If not, let me just run it down real quick for you, okay? Say you got an improv scene and you got a partner and another scene partner and you're both doing a scene, okay? The first person to bring something to that scene, because nobody knows what's going on, right? The other partner has to yes that thing that is being brought to the scene, and then they have to add on to it. So they yes and it. And because Bobby is so improv-pilled, he thinks everybody's just doing improv scenes with him in real world. But nobody thinks like an improviser out there in the real world. Bobby Lee, you're absolutely delusional. So Bobby Lee's just out there doing like improv scenes with scene partners that have not consented to improv. And that's another crime. Consent to improv. You have to know at least a little bit of the skill level of somebody that you're in the scene with. Are they gonna yes and? Are they gonna escalate? You know what I mean? Are they a long form player? Are they doing an Armando? You know what I mean? Any improv heads out there? You know what I'm talking about. But no, Bobby Lee. Nobody's an improv head. Nobody's gone to the Groundlings. Nobody's gone to Second City like you and I, okay? You might have done it at a much bigger level than I ever have, but nobody's done that, okay? Do you know who does that? Nerds. Losers. People with nothing going on in their life. Those are the kinds of people that are drawn to improv. Not normally people just like sitting in a fucking podcast room or these little hosts that you've been assaulting. Not funny. And in improv, that's a bad move. You want to bring good moves to the scene where your scene partner is going to reciprocate and you're going to get funny stuff out of it. I think making people uncomfortable, it's not really a talent. So, I've come with 5 examples today, and all of them are worse than the last one. So without any further ado, the first example is George Janko. Now, George Janko is apparently a co-host of a podcast with Logan Paul and Mike Miliak or whatever his dumb name is, okay? Logan Paul, obviously a very famous guy. Everybody knows who Logan Paul is, right? But George Janko? Who the fuck is a George Janko? I have no goddamn earthly idea who a George Janko is. But apparently, George Janko's been in the news cycle as of recent. He's been like, Logan Paul doesn't let me grow. Logan Paul's very mean. Logan Paul this, Logan Paul that. And me, I don't know anything about the situation, okay? Logan Paul's not the greatest guy, obviously. Japan Forest guy, obviously. Right? He's that guy. So you want to trust the George Jankos of the world, but then I listened to just like a clip of what George Janko has to say, what he's all about, and I'm not all about this guy either. I had no idea who he was until this very morning. But Bobby Lee brought his brand of comedy, his improv, to George Janko. Now, bless his heart, George Janko doesn't seem bright enough to even wake up in the morning and tie his own shoes, okay? He does not seem like a very smart individual, and now he's being faced with having to do forced improv on the air here, and this is a clip right on the Logan Paul Clips channel, okay? So let me just set it up for you here a little bit, because it's absolutely ridiculous. Bobby Lee is talking about the smell of his wiener, okay? He's like, I put a bunch of cologne on it and I need someone to smell my wiener, okay? And this is after a whole episode of this podcast of Bobby Lee grabbing George Janko's junk, okay? Not okay, not acceptable, not cool, not funny, most importantly, okay? And George Janko, so dumb, bless his poor heart, doesn't deserve that kind of improv happening right now. Okay, that's not improv, Bobby. That's not a joke. That's just like invading someone's personal space for other people's amusement. Very weird, very sick, okay? But back to the cologne wiener. He pulls down his pants after Logan and his dumb co-host, Mike or whatever, is like, no, we're not gonna smell the wiener. You're gonna put your wiener in George's face. Takes down the pants, puts the wiener in the face. Here's the clip.
You want to smell my dick?
Why?
Maybe, Mike, you want to smell? Yeah, George.
Smell his dick.
In improv, you never disagree. Okay. You always agree. You ruin the fucking moment if you don't do it. And it's not gay.
It's just not funny. I understand that he's trying to make people cringe and that's his brand of comedy, but dude, this shit is so not it. Okay, now we gotta talk about Bobby in the morning. Now, this is a morning show, and in these morning shows, these hosts, my God, you know they're the most milquetoast people in the world, right? They're not there for an improv scene, and to throw an improv scene on them is funny. This is the appropriate time to do an improv scene with somebody that is not expecting it, and you're probably gonna get something golden out of it. But what you don't do is you go over and you start kissing them like this.
Come on, good to see you. Because you were on paternity leave last night, right? It's good to see you.
And that's just the first example of that very interview that he did. We'll get to the second example later, but that's just like not funny, right? And I know the host, like the co-host there with the glasses and the sitting there, I know he found it pretty funny. Of course he did, because he wishes he could do that kind of thing, and he can't believe that some little weird little dude is out here being so brazen enough to just get up and start kissing women in the middle of the day. It is insane, and it's just not funny, bro. If other people find that funny, that just shows you what's going on in their sick, depraved, perverted little minds. Now, like I said, we'll get back to that host in a little bit, but let's move on to another host that everybody is talking about. This is the leg rubbing incident. He rubs one leg, pretty smooth. Rubs another leg, pretty bumpy. What are you doing? Why are you rubbing these ladies' legs in the middle of the morning on TV. This isn't improv. This isn't a scene.
Can I touch your legs? Because they're so nice.
Don't touch mine. Are there comedians?
Wow, bumpy. Real bumpy.
I didn't shave
Yeah,
because I didn't
wow.
wanted to keep you off.
You're on.
And then, of course, that wasn't good enough. He goes in for the kiss, and then she, like, cowers away, and then he gets into, like, the neck area. Dude, that is just so weird, so insane that you would think that that's comedy. And I'm here to tell you, it's not. It's not comedy. It is not funny.
Oh, it was like in the
A little sneak attack, you know?
You know who Bobby Altoff is? Altoff? Me neither, bro. Okay, there were 2 viral moments apparently about her with Drake. Was the first one apparently interviewing Drake in bed. Ooh, very saucy. And then people are like, she's an industry plant. What do you mean, dude? I don't. Okay, whatever, industry plant. And then like her Mark Cuban interview. Those are the things that I know about Bobby Altoff. I don't even know how to fucking say her name, bro. I'm so sorry. You think I'm doing that amount of research? No way. But Bobby was really weird with her. Now, Bobby's whole thing is the same kind of thing as Bobby's thing. Do you follow me here? Bobby Lee and Bobby Altoff both like making people uncomfortable. Both like being a little bit kind of cringe in order to create that like, oh, what are you doing out there kind of vibe, you know? And to be honest, I'm not vibing with either of Bobby's approaches out here. But that's no reason for Bobby Lee to be asking all about Bobby Altoff's feet. This might be the least egregious example on here, but I think it is pretty friggin' weird, okay? Now, it's hard to tell where Bobby Altoff is going into character because she is just kind of like naturally uncomfortable. Her whole shtick is like pulling out her phone and being bored and just like anxious and kind of that kind of thing. So it's kind of hard to tell if she was playing up her gimmick, playing into Bobby's gimmick, if she was doing the whole improv thing. She's kind of an enigma out there, you know? Here's the clip.
I would love to see your feet.
Thank you.
Jiminy crickets.
Jiminy Crickets, I fucked up.
Why would you say that out loud?
I was looking at her boots right now. I go, like the boots, but I'm like, what's underneath it? And I go, probably nice feet.
You're not saying that in a gross way, are you, bud?
Not in sexual, no.
All right.
I don't find her sexually attractive.
How big are your feet?
This is weird. This is what you do to me. Then I'm gonna leave here and tell people you're so
What?
weird.
And then we gotta go back to the worst clip that's going around in all these commentary videos. And this is the clip I'm calling the Sally Chase.
Yeah, you don't feel good? You want me to do it again? What am I? What? Where are you going?
Do
Where are
not
you
kiss
going?
my
All right,
ankle,
okay,
my
okay,
ankle
bad.
bone.
My bad. I'm sorry, come back. Everything's fine. Everything's fine, everybody. Everything's fine. Come back. I won't assault you anymore.
No, I don't trust you.
Why?
Because I can see you
From a
jumping
mile
on
away,
me
and I see you too. I see you
I
too.
was right-
And I want to talk to you about my cats. Come here right now. You're being so rude right now. You're being so rude right now. Come back to the seat. Come back to the seat. Come back to the seat. You're being so rude right now. Sit down. Sit down. Sit down. I apologize. My bad. I'm sorry. If you get up again, I swear to God, I'm never gonna come back here. Okay? Anyway, I have 3 cats and a dog, and God, those ankles are so appetizing.
Oh my God, that's got really.
I just want to.
But that shit's so weird, right? To go after the ankle, to then chase around, that's kind of like extreme, right? That's like not funny to like the 1/1,000,000th degree. What a degenerate, dude. Everybody is framing this as what a weird, creepy loser, and I don't blame them for that. It is so weird. It is so creepy. Grabbing people's junk, kissing people's ankle, chasing them around the set. Yeah, I'm glad you're yucking it up, having a good time, Bobby Lee fans. Like I said, that's more of a self-report than anything else. You wish you could get away with this kind of stuff, don't you? You think that this stuff is just so funny, so leg slapping. Bobby Lee, oh, he's just out there. No, Bobby Lee needs to be locked up in the slammer, and that's just kind of the end of the story. That's how I see it. So right now, I'm gonna have you do improv with the like button and the subscribe button, because you are now officially in End Gang. And everybody that was watching this video that bounced out around the 3-minute mark, the 5-minute mark, they're not here right now. They don't even know that they're in Bounce Gang, and we're about to start a war. End Gang versus Bounce Gang. It's going to be vicious out here. Blood, sweat, and tears all over the battlefield will ensue. But I fear that Bounce Gang is bigger in numbers, and we got to change that. And I think by threatening them to join End Gang, we might be able to avoid gang warfare. We don't need the gang war of 2024. Okay, thank you so much for watching. Until my next upload, watch another upload.